I have with me today Jana Drakka. Hello, Jana. Originally from San Francisco Zen Center. She is a fully ordained and transmitted Zen priest in the lineage of Zenkai Blanche Hartman. And Jana has an interesting life and work story. I think our audience would like to hear more about how you bring the Zendo to the streets and what motivated you to do this.
Well, you know, the motivation's the most interesting thing, I think. A couple of years after I came to San Francisco, or to America, I became homeless myself. Mm-hmm. And it was a dreadful, dreadful shock. And actually, to escape homelessness, I went to San Francisco Zen Center. A voice just kept saying to me, Zen, Zen, Zen. So I went there to see what it was all about. And pretty much right away realized that developing the ability to stay present no matter what's going on is a lifesaver. So I really think that it saved my life. I really believe that learning how to stay present and be with people saved my life. So I immediately started going out on the streets to join in homeless memorials for people who died on the streets. And from there I met these wonderful people called Religious Witness with Homeless People. And they put me on their board. So I was on their board for about 15 years. And that's when the street activism started. I've been arrested many times.
You've been arrested many times? In connection with?
In connection, I've been arrested in my robes. For example, I protested when gay marriage failed. I've protested against landlords that treat their tenants unkindly, various things like that. So
it's been a kind of social activism?
Yeah, and I was actually the only Buddhist on the streets at that time, and so they made me into the Buddhist representative. I work in shelters, hospice. I have 3 meditation groups in a community garden, and for that I wear something like this.
I see.
Or a pair of jeans. And
the secular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you alone when you're doing all this work? You are.
Yeah.
I see.
I had hoped that people in Zen centers would be encouraged to come out and work with me, but I find that people are rather frightened of homeless folks. Even though I always make a point of saying, but I was homeless myself, there's nothing to be frightened of. But no, I've been doing it myself now for 8 years, I think, 7 years. But it's a very, very fascinating ministry, and taking our practice, our sitting practice, to folks who would really never come near a Zen center. Is absolutely wonderful.
Have you been misconstrued as someone who is proselytizing or evangelizing?
I never mention religion.
You don't?
No, not unless anyone asks about it. Or obviously the memorials are actually interfaith, and people don't know. There's so few Zen priests on the streets. They don't know who I am. They don't know what the robe means. So often when I've finished a ceremony, people come up and say, you know, thank you for that wonderful Catholic service, Father. You know, and then often I just leave it alone. I don't bother to tell them, you know, the short hair, no makeup, that's what Zen females look like, you know. But I don't bother, because basically I'm giving people what it's for them, it's not about me. So if people become interested and ask where I learned this kind of thing, then I will say something. But no, I don't mention religion at all. And
if you were in a conversation with a homeless person, walk us through how you speak to somebody in a shelter, or if you walk up to somebody on the street. What is your There has to be some,
well, you know,
some method here.
It's absolutely vital, you're right. What I do is a combination of zazen, just sitting, and harm reduction. You can't really work on the streets unless harm reduction. I'll explain that a little bit. You can't really work on the streets unless you've studied harm reduction. It's a way to accept everybody where they're at. So there's no judgment if someone uses drugs or drinks or does anything at all. There's absolutely no judgment. And if you study harm reduction, you get the techniques to speak to everybody, to be open and caring about everyone. So that was the first thing I learned, actually.
So use some harm reduction on me.
You're perfect just as you are.
Well, okay.
Well, for example,
move right along then.
Say for example, you came to me and you said, I drink a 6-pack of beer every night. Now, I would not say, oh, you have a problem. The language is what we call client-centered. So I would say to you, do you think that's a problem? If you didn't, there's nothing I can do. If you think it might be a problem, then we're on the road into harm reduction. So first thing is pre-contemplation. You're not even really thinking about it. Contemplation, if you say, oh, that 6-pack's getting to be too much for me, I say, were you thinking about doing anything? Contemplation, action. Then we can plan together. I can support you in your actions. So everything comes from the person you're talking to, which is the opposite of authoritarian. Everything is from you, and I simply support you. So then